Keyframes are awesome. They are available in nearly all video editing solutions, and you can use them to really have some movement in your video, to make some changes, but to be flexible to change it again all the time. Let's see what they are and how they work. I'm as an example in Adobe Premiere, and I have a video clip from one of my previous videos. Here I have some parts where I speak all the time. And if you think about keyframes, you can imagine them like markers, where some value is changed, but on this point where the marker is set, the value is really fixed to this. And everything in between is fluent, is in a change to another or a previous keyframe. The most common use case for keyframes are position and scale. Normally you could say, okay, I zoom in a little bit, I move the image to the right, and that's now how it looks in the whole video. But what happens if I want to say, okay, at some parts it should be zoomed in some parts not, in some parts it should be a little bit moving, what should I do? Of course, you can make cuts to each part and change then the size just on their own, saying here, this clip goes back to original one, let me mute myself, then you have here, it plays, jumps back, goes here again. But of course, if you want to change it, it's just annoying. Let's undo the actions and have it here in the original size. If I now say, okay, here, that's how it works in Adobe Premiere, toggle animation, you activate the keyframes. And here are some small points now created, where the keyframe is set, where the value is fixed. So at the moment I say at this second, at this point in the video, the position and the scale with these values are fixed. If I now jump here and say on this point of time, I want to have it more zoomed in, I want to have it here and this, I have here set now again a fixed point in time for position and scale. Important thing here is everything in between is now connected through a line. Let's jump to the beginning, hit play, and now you see it's zooming and moving in. Of course, because it's moving from, for example, the scale 100% scale to 134% of scale. If I would now here set again a keyframe and say, now I want to go back to the original values, I would have here it zooms in and here it zooms out again. That's the default behavior. Of course, you can also say you only want to have keyframes at the position, like you have only the movement, but that's it. And there you see, here I'm already out of the visible frame, what is recorded. You can select the keyframes here, delete them, go back to the original value, and now everything is resetted. If I would say now, from here to here, I want to keep my ratio, I say, I have my keyframes, I jump to this point, I say, keyframe with my current same values. I jump one frame to the right, and now I say, now I want to move in. That means now here it keeps the values and here it makes a strong cut. So this is also something you could do. Or you say, let's jump to this point, remove the two keyframes, and now jump, let's say to here, doesn't matter. Now say, here we want to have the zoom. That means here it stays because we have these two keyframes, or these two, are having the same values. But from this one to this one, there is a change. The values are different. So it means here it stays and here it's moving. The same you can do with, for example, opacity. That you say, here I have 100% opacity, and till here it should fade out. It gets dark. So I have here, you also see it now here, and I make play. It gets dark. The same you could do for volume and most of the other effects you can add to a clip. In Adobe Premiere, it's this way. If you want to remove a keyframe, you click here. This action will delete existing keyframes. Do you want to continue? If you click yes, it will set the current value of opacity as a default. So now 0% is a default. If I increase it to 100 again, it's increased everywhere to 100. And if you want to change this one to say the zoom should be even slower, you can move it here, and then it's really, really slow. Or you say this should be this way, that here it's only this, and from here on only the position is changing. You see, you can do a lot with keyframes. They give you the option to, inside of a clip, make changes to every aspect. Scale, position, opacity, but also effect strength. Like for example, you have a Gaussian blur. You could say in the first 10 seconds there should be no blur, and then from 10 seconds on it should be a blur of 20 or something. You know what I mean. So this is really something where inside of a clip you can make fine adjustments. And I hope this video helped you. If yes, give it a thumb up. And if you want, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any new video.